to you or anyone to break the law. What I am saying is that you've got to have what my grandmother would have said, chutzpah. You got to have guts to be able to go out there and make your mark and be able to get the business. I still have people pouring in here, so I'm trying to get that all together. I also see that all of you are kind of hiding from me here, except for Kenny and Daniel. Marine, very nice. Bonjour. And Moni, so these are the ones that are, and Terry, not to be let undone. Daniel, while everyone else is coming in here, do we have a topic for Wednesday?
We don't have a topic on Wednesday, but we have on the 16th, which is the absentee owner with Andy Neal.
Yes. So, okay. So the 16th of this month, we have something. We do this like 2 or 3 times a year. I highly suggest you come. It is selling to absentee owners. There's all sorts of tools and tricks that we have at our disposal as realtors to be able to go in and find out that guy, that house down the street, you never see anyone in it. That's because they live in Toronto. Great. How do we actually get that information? How do we start a marketing campaign to Toronto to be able to get either buyers or sellers? That's going to be the 16th. Andy Neal, who's a member, I don't think he's here this morning. 65 to 70% of his business is done this way. Holy shit. What is he doing to get that business? Somebody's going to make the money. I want it to be you. So that's going to be on the 16th. And on Wednesday, we've got 2 meetings next week. Although we don't have the topics handy here, we will be able to get them out to all of you. But please, please, please mark the calendar, April 16th. It'll be the end of tax season. Kind of exciting, maybe. Okay. Eitan, welcome. Eitan's in Portugal. Kenny's in Los Angeles. Got people. Deneen Kearns from LA. Deneen's up nice and early too. Love Deneen. Hideka in New York. Andy K, one of my favorites. I'm meeting her with later this afternoon. Nicole, great. So we've got all sorts of folks from all over the place. I believe we got a couple people coming in from Brazil, and Norway. Somebody from Norway is supposed to be coming today. So I kind of like that whole international side of all this. Okay, all that being said, meetings being recorded. Great. So let's just start with, did everyone get the workbook? Did everyone see the workbook? Daniel, did you make it available on the chat? I think you did. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So periodically he'll put that up along with some other stuff. I suggest you guys download that. Again, it's with your subscription. We do provide this stuff and we work pretty hard on it. And let me just go through and get right into it right now. Um, I'd like to know who your dominant agents are in your area. My bias in this meeting is going back to farming. I am a farmer. I work my area. It doesn't mean that we don't work outside of my immediate area, but when it comes to my marketing, I put a lot of time and effort into that. So let's just, talk with somebody who's brave enough to talk, who's got the courage to say who their big competition is, and we'll just have a conversation around that. Nobody ever wants to be.
Okay, if I start proceeding.
John?
Okay, if I start proceeding.
John, are you talking now to us? Okay. I'm going to mute you because I don't know if you're talking to us or are you talking to us, John O'Malley? O'Mahony?
I am not.
Okay. Okay. So let me just mute you out here. You could unmute yourself when when you want to talk. Who do we have here? Let's Terry, I'm going to pick on you because you're easy.
Yeah, that was me in college.
That was college. Kimberly Dove, Daniel just put into the chat the link for you to download, so please take it. Terry, how are you?
I am so fine. Ask anybody.
So tell us, who's the big competition? Talk to me about that.
There are several agents that are big competition. My farm is the neighborhood I lived in for 20 years, Prospect Heights, Brooklyn, which is across the street from Park Slope. Park Slope is, world famous and therefore inundated with agents that want to dominate that market, and who can blame them? It's a very lucrative market. Prospect Heights is, as I said, across the street. What's interesting about it is that the lots there are much bigger, and therefore the houses that are built there are much bigger. It's a smaller geographic area, but it's also a niche type of housing stock. So to address your question, Ed, some of the same agents that are dominating Park Slope are dominating Prospect Heights as well, but they're not putting the same focus on it, the laser focus that I'm trying to do. We do mailings. We have put together an email targeting thing. We found out for every house which has been owned for more than 20 years of these houses here, and we are sending them e-blasts of what else is on the market. A different house daily, and we've got about 200 of those. That this are the comps for the sale for the house of your size. Would you be interested in hearing more about the possibility of, finding out what your house is worth? Because we figure, 20 years at a place, the kids are grown. That's a typical time for somebody to move on from those things. So we're trying to target them. This is the neighborhood that I go and buy coffee for at 2:00 this afternoon. Come to Milf Wee on the corner of Vanderbilt and Prospect Place, and I'll buy you coffee for an hour.
It's great stuff, and it served your purpose. And I know a few people, based on what you've suggested, are doing it now.
Yeah,
so
it works.
It works.
I did it.
And Eitan did it as well. And if Eitan did it, we know that it works in Portugal.
There you go.
It works in Brooklyn. It works in Portugal. They drink coffee in Portugal. Lo and behold.
Shocking.
So taking a look at the workbook, your competitor analysis, if you could actually start to go through this stuff, let me stop this for a second. It's not a matter of whether you are going to follow the workbook to the T. You don't have to. What I'm saying is that it gets you thinking about where your shortcomings may be. It gets you thinking about where you might want to improve. So just humor me for a second and just take a look at this. Who are the top three? There's usually one or two or three top agents in a given area. And your assignment, if you choose to accept it, is to really start with what percentage market share do they have? Well, you could usually, at least in Florida, find that out on the MLS. You're able to really see your immediate area, what percentage, and you could find out where they are. You can find out the time in business, although that's going to be far less important than knowing the strengths of the competition and what you perceive as their weakness. So if you're able to identify those things, you're going to be able to then build a plan around each of your competitors. Why are people actually giving these guys their listings and not going to you? Now, anybody want to take a stab at that? Jonathan, Kenny, Heather, I haven't seen in ages. Marlene in Orlando. Who wants to have a go at why your competition is listing, or why people are listing with your competition? It's not that tough. Come on, let's get a little going here. Come on, gotta prime the pump here now. Come on, we're gonna get it out of somebody here.
Visibility, consistency. They use several great forms of marketing.
Okay, that's what I want to know. What's the great form of marketing? First of all, Kenny, nice snuggie, Kenny. Look, you look all warm.
Yeah, it snowed last night.
Yeah, look at you. You look so warm and comfortable.
Video.
Daniel, if you could put the workbook back up again. Somebody came in and they haven't gotten it. But go ahead, Kenny. So
Yeah.
Let's talk about the competition. Where are they coming from?
So I'm just going to start working on a new farm in the mountains where my house is there. And there's one girl some of these people haven't been around that long, but one girl came out of television and she's doing a lot of video. And she's a Latino girl. And since she's even, there's not a lot of Latino people up here, she's changed the whole name of her company to try to whitewash it. But I've seen she's doing some video and then she's dropping some stuff on Facebook. So she'll do video of every house. Thing is, it's the thing she does really that's not enough is she's just doing the houses and she's not doing anything for the community. We're going to get aggressive. My wife's got 100 videos on how to make your house green. So that's one way to go after it. But
Good.
Another guy, he's
Grapes don't have much flavor though.
yeah.
Yeah.
His
Again, I just want to warn when I hear background noise, I just mute you out.
that's the 561 number, whoever that
Yeah,
is.
that's
Yeah.
that was Sandy. I just
Uh,
muted. Yeah.
so another guy was a builder. He's been a builder. He's an old dude. Goes after the old people. Um,
Hold
but
on,
he
he's
has,
an old dude that goes after the old people.
yeah.
Okay,
He's
qualify old. Somebody called me old yesterday. So what's
um probably pushing 80
oh,
plus,
okay. Yeah,
you
it's
know.
seasoned.
But he's been around for a while, right? And he was a builder. He built a bunch of homes up here.
Okay.
Um, another uh the other top guy, some guy, Drew, he had family, but he started
Okay,
out with
so family and all that, I'm not gonna, we're not gonna
yeah.
get past
No,
that. You're gonna give your
he
business
started
to your
out
brother-in-law.
he
But
started out with
what
postcards.
what we're really trying to find out here, and again, I'm going to move on just because we're
Got
reaching.
it.
I
Go
want
for
to
it.
be able to get this. What is the competition and what is their market share? And what are their strengths and their weaknesses? If you could understand someone's weakness, you could begin to exploit it. Now, again, the way I'm talking is a little bit nefarious, but I think some of you have been a little bit too nice. I'm not telling you to break the law. I'm very, very clear about this, and it's being recorded. I'm telling you to push things to the limits when it comes to actually getting the business. Why? Because if you don't, somebody else will. So, instead, part of the problem that I've identified, and I talked about this with my partner, Eitan, um, is that really there is not enough of a strategy or a structure going into the business that you're actually doing, and you're just far too passive. If anything that you pull out of this meeting is to learn to be a little bit more aggressive, it's going to serve your purposes better. And that's really important. Relationship mapping, from the competitor above, again, taking a look at the workbook. List their key relationships. Okay, let me talk about a guy in my community. We'll call him Michael because his name is Michael. And he has a family that he's sold. It seems every year there's a family that lives here. They own 4 homes in the neighborhood. They flip-flop, they've sold, they've done. He keeps getting those people. But lo and behold, I'm speaking to somebody in the family now, and I found a home for them. Now, whether they actually take it or not, it's certainly going to start a bit of a war, I would guess, because he has perceived that as his. It is not his. Okay? I've heard so many of you say, okay, the listing's expired, but now I've got a client that wants the property. And what do you do when that happens? Who wants to tell me what you do when that happens? Go ahead, Terry. I can see you're excited.
Reach out to the neighbors.
Reach out to the neighbors. That's good. That's what you do. But
Yeah.
what have you seen other agents do?
Sleep around.
Okay, well, that's you. But aside from that, no, they call the old broker.
Ah,
I've seen
okay.
people call the old broker when something's actually expired. What the hell are you doing? What are you doing? They keep it. Oh, well, the thing just expired. I'm like, great. You want to invite in the competition. So when I say that you're far too passive, it really is the case that many of you are just far, far, far too passive. So I want to be able to realize this. Okay. So the competition, what are their relationships? Who are their top sphere? What are their partnerships? What is the community connections? Now, Nicole is here. We're talking about making a map of my country club with the golf course and all the stuff. Why? Because I know some of my competition has done this in another community and it's worked really well for them. Yeah. Some coach once said success leaves clues. I don't know who said it. I didn't write it, but I think it's a great saying, and it's something for you to consider. List 5 ethical ways you could gather intelligence about your competitors. Come on, guys. I mean, let's stop and think through. You're just looking at business as something that's coming in. Okay, wow, do they know someone who wants to buy or sell? It's too simple. It'll happen. But it's kind of like triplets. You usually don't have triplets. You usually just have a single child. What you need here is to be able to actually stop and think through what you're going to do and what your competition is all about right now. So I don't know why everyone's hiding from me this morning. It's terrible. Uh, who wants to chime in on that? Maureen, can I pick on you a little bit or no?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So to tell everyone who you are and where you are.
Me, I'm a real estate agent with Douglas Lehman in Miami. I've been doing real estate for 7 years now, and Miami 5 years. And the main competition I have is basically it's always the same people you see around. I'm living in Pinecrest, and I see always signs of Michael Martinez. It seems to be everywhere. He's from One Sotheby's. So I think the main point why those agents get the listings is because they have visibility. You can see their signs all around. And in terms of marketing, and he has been living, I think, in Pinecrest or in Miami for like 20 years. So basically, I think he's very well connected to the area, and they have great marketing in terms of spending as well, which is not what I have. I mean, in terms of marketing, they surely have all the tools in terms of postcards, in terms of social media, in terms of to get those properties. So what I'm doing on my end, and I'm very interested by the next Zoom meeting that you're going to do. I'm looking for houses that are maybe vacant, and I'm trying to reach out to those people, to those like crash houses, or houses that are not in good conditions, because I know that basically agents are not really looking after those houses and trying to get those listings, and where I can find where I will get a chance, to get those listings compared to houses that are beautiful, and they are going to go with the agent that is everywhere, and has the most beautiful marketing.
Well, there's also the anti-agent. You know that. Has anybody heard of the anti-agent?
No.
Biggest competitors in town, and they just don't want to do business with that guy. You need to lean in and try and find those people too. There's always, no matter the guy could walk on water, and there's going to be some people that will really reject or refute that particular person. So, that's some area to actually think of as well. The point is this, that part of you's got to believe that it's not going to be a complete waste of time. Otherwise, you wouldn't have come here. That you've got to believe, and not just you, but all of us, that there's a way to overcome the competition that's out there. First things first, understanding who the competitors are, understanding why they are. I mean, well, you can't add 20 years of your life there the way they have, Maureen. What you can do, Christine, I'm muting you because you're talking, and I don't know if you knew you had a live mic on. You're welcome to unmute and talk if you want at some point. So I think that that's really, really important for you to stop and consider. Just where is the weakness? What's going on aside from the time that they've spent in the business? And conversely, where can you shine above those competitions? Here, list 5 ethical ways you could gather intelligence about the competition. Now, there might be certain things, and again, depending upon how tough you want to get, there might be certain things about them that you will lean in on that's a negative sale. Not doing it myself. It's not something that I've ever leaned in on to bash a competitor. It's not the way I'm doing it. I will say this, it does work. And for those that are willing to absorb that and willing to go that route, it might be something, a consideration. Again, I don't like blow daisies at all of you guys. I'm trying to show you a very different side to the business, that we've got people that are sometimes doing very, very mean things. Where is the competitor's vulnerabilities? And what can you do ethically to get beyond that? Again, I'm opening up more questions than you can imagine, but I really do want you after this meeting to wrestle with this and share some of these ideas. Can their shortcomings actually be a good thing? In other words, is there something that you're going to be able to play upon in their shortcomings? Is there a shared common interest that you have with the subject seller or the potential person? That's very important. Displacing established relationships. Okay, so you got to identify where the gaps are in the relationships between these people. There's sometimes, at least in the luxury market, there are some big shortcomings out of the competition. If you're going to be able to identify that, I'll give you an example here. There's a competitor of mine who he did 3 sides. He sold, he did bought and sold, or hold on, so listed and sold. He had brought buyer and seller one house, and he brought that same former seller to buy another house. Did he give him a closing gift? Did he do anything that kind of recognized it? No, there was no real relationship there after. What could be done with that piece of intelligence? Because that's something that happens quite a bit with this. It's going to take some type of client endorsement at this point. That's something that would really be important if you're able to actually get that out there. You need people to hear this. You need people to understand that you're doing something that the competition is not. But you got to be creative in how you get that news out there. You know, where are the gaps? Who wants to have a go at this? Again, a tough thing. Nobody wants to seem like a bad guy. I'm trying to make it really easy here. Its
Edmund,
closing
I'm gonna
gifts
throw-
signify a relationship. Heather, can you unmute yourself?
Yeah, sure. I'm trying to understand, like, just because we give a closing gift, does that mean that we have a better relationship with a buyer or seller?
Not necessarily. It's just one of many, many bricks that you're going to use to build a wall. The point is not that he doesn't get them a gift. The point is he's a dick. The point is that he's just not a nice guy. And the point is that it's just one other thing that signifies that. Whereas if you're kind of filling in that gap, I don't know, if I did three sides with someone during a fairly slow year, the gift that he actually got him, I shouldn't say that he didn't get him a gift. I'm glad you brought it up. He gave him a coupon. This is an 85-year-old man, by the way.
A
A
coupon? Oh my God.
10% off furniture if you spend more than $5,000 at this furniture place. Well, he's 85 years old. He's not buying new furniture. And basically, he gave him his junk mail. That's a shortcoming. Do you see what I'm saying? I'm sorry, Heather, like I said, I'm sorry I didn't bring it to full disclosure here. The guy consistently does stuff like that. To me, you might as well give me nothing. It's better off.
Yeah.
And this guy was pissed. He just looked at it. It's like there's no appreciation whatsoever. And there's no real keeping up with the relationship beyond that. Find out where the shortcomings are. Again, it's very unsatisfying. You know, I'm not giving you the same thing that you get when, oh, here's ChatGPT, here's a prompt, now you have your answer. This is not as easy, but it's just as important because if you don't stop and think this stuff through, you're missing a major piece. Go ahead, Terry.
Where did you find that information?
Which information?
That this doofus gave a cheap closing gift.
I found it out when I got his listing when he decided to sell the house, and I asked.
Got it.
And because he was, and actually, I probably took a page from the Terry Robinson book that he was always getting like little notes from me and gifts from us, and there was always stuff that was going on, and this was something that he recognized was a much friendlier way to work with somebody. Again, not saying that's the only thing. I'm just saying it was one thing. Go ahead, Terry.
Well, then let me put this out to the group. How can we dig into finding these things out about our competition? You know, I live in the Brownstone, Brooklyn is a fairly small ecosystem, and the successful people know the other successful people. So my competition is also my neighbors. I know that they have insights into places because their kids go to the same school or neighborhoody stuff like that is tough to compete with if your kid doesn't go to that same school. I want to find I feel like to find out what their styles are to get listings is how we could improve what we do to get one step up on them. How can we as professionals learn that information? Just putting that out there to the group.
Okay, before I pick Kenny, I want to just see, because I want to give everyone an opportunity here. Does anyone want to have a go at that? Sandy, go ahead. Oh, I thought you wanted to. Okay.
Sorry.
Oh, no worries. Okay, Kenny, go ahead.
All right, I'm going to rattle through some stuff that I've got on all the agents. Every
Try
time.
keep it to 60 seconds. Yes.
Got it. Okay. No community connections, no donations to different things. We always donate to someone. There's a big agent out here that has the client even choose a donation place, and she's got a list of all the charities that they've donated to on her site. Experience. I could look at a license and know how much experience they have. Images. One guy up here that's trying to be a cowboy. He's got a cowboy hat. He's from West Hollywood, gay dude, but nothing against that. but his image up here is not getting
Whoa, whoa, whoa,
well.
whoa, whoa! A gay guy with a cowboy hat? I never heard of that. That's
Yeah,
fucking.
right. No, it's like, yeah,
It's
but
not
again,
I
it's
am.
nothing about, he's, and it's like a lot of part of this community is retired. So also I look up their real estate license number because you could see dings. I found people that I got 3 people that have had commingled funds and have got dings on their license and suspended license and stuff. Not that I want to throw that out there, but you want to know who your competition is. Also, you know, you'll, I've got a bigger network than they do, and look how big my network is. They don't reach mountain off the hill here. I've got 12,000 realtors in my database. Um, mistakes with past clients. I always hear what's happened in escrows. One guy didn't close an escrow. He was representing both sides, and the buyer disappeared and left his deposit and never came back. And the people had already moved out. I mean, crazy stuff like that. But I just hear that from the seller actually. What else can I say? So it's image experience, offering resources. We got more resources that will help anybody with anything. One of my mottos is I'll do it all large or small. So we'll do big stuff, little stuff. The guy that moved his furniture out already, I gave him furniture. So of course I'm going to get the business from him later, right? But anyway, just check out their license, see who you're dealing with. But nobody even up here hasn't been in the business more than 5 or 6 years.
When you see some of the big competition, I'll give you an example of a commercial deal. I had someone who needed a commercial space in New York, and there was somebody with I won't say companies, it doesn't really matter, but there was somebody with a reputable company that had a commercial guy on the team. It was a residential company, but he was a commercial agent that he had on the team. The man who was the commercial broker was Chinese. It was a Chinese company that wanted the storefront on Madison Avenue in Manhattan. At the time, very expensive stuff. Again, I don't know anything about commercial in New York right now.
Thank you so much.
What happened? This guy was all about numbers. He was incredibly impersonal. There was a bit of a language barrier, which wasn't so bad because, again, the other side was Chinese as well. But he was looking at it purely from the numbers standpoint. Now, the big competition came in, the local, they picked up in some type of unusual car. It was like an English black cab. That's what they had running around New York, to take the person from property to property. They had lunch reservations. They had a full printed agenda of what was going on. When you looked at the difference between the presentation and the knowledge base, the only thing that this guy had for him was that he was Chinese. That was the only thing that they were kind of putting out there. And they thought that that was going to be enough to win, but it wasn't enough to win because this other company that actually went all the way, you could see every single day what the competition is doing. If you just open up your eyes and take a look, that's really the assignment here. And if you want to take it a step further, take a look at what the competition is doing and email me. And you could always email Daniel at Bogen Homes, an observation that you made. And then we're going to blog about you and tell everyone about what a great observation it was. Or, if I don't think it was great, I'll just say it was an observation. But whatever it is, we want to be able to get those ideas out there. Please, please, please do share. Who else? Okay, let's go back to the book here. Again, relationship disruption tactics. I'm not saying to necessarily do it. It gets nefarious, but there are those that do, and the ones that do tend to win. I try to bring all sides of an argument in this meeting here. The data sources. Have any of you used Google Alerts? Anybody know about Google Alerts? Okay, good. Andy, Eitan. Okay, the rest of you should know about it. If you go to Google and type in alerts, and let me just try and pull this up. One of the things that you could do, and I hope you're going to like this now. I'm going to share.
Yeah,
Okay,
you could
here,
sign
I'm
up for
going to
your
share my
name.
screen here. I'm going to share my screen. Give me a second. Okay. So Google Alerts, monitor the web for interesting new content. So here are my alerts: Edmund Bogen, Douglas Elliman, Rafi Vass, Real Estate Boca Raton, Richard Steinberg. Sonata adds them. So we could actually create an alert. Let's say I wanted an alert about Brooklyn real estate. I could actually create this alert, and then it would be, right now you can see the previews of what's going on here, but it will send a alert to you almost at most once a day. You could do it automatically. You could send it in whatever language. You could choose the regions, and you could set up for a news alert coming to you. Maybe it would be restaurants, Boca Raton, and let's see what we have here. Hooters filed for bankruptcy, no big loss. Fresh Kitchen expands to South Florida. So they have different things. The point is that you'll be in the know of what's going on. It's free. You already have it. This is an old thing. Andy's all excited here. Yeah, Andy's used this before. Andy, unmute yourself a second. Got to fix.
Hello, sorry about that. I'm here.
No worries. So what have you used the alerts for?
I use them just to post on social media.
Okay, so you get ideas of what to post.
Yeah, it's just another thing to post. Like I share, certain things relevant to where I'm located. Yeah.
Yeah. So exactly that. So you do what you go to something that you find interesting, create a Google alert for it. It comes in right through your Gmail. Take what came in through the Gmail, put that into ChatGPT to personalize it to the extent that you want, and boom, you have a post. And provided, it's not an excuse to be lazy. You got to be able to actually say, is this interesting enough to make somebody's going to want to read it? But if you want to find out about your competition, create Google alerts about them. So I was looking at Sonata adds them. Stuff comes up about her all the time, and you're able to get some great insights into it. So that's something for everyone to think about. Okay, wrapping up here. Let me just take a look. Okay. Okay, the legal boundaries. Like I would say, you got to decide what you're comfortable with and what you're uncomfortable with. Decide what you will never do beyond your ethical boundaries, and then what you will do with the ethical boundaries. It's interesting is nobody's ever done a topic like this because everyone's really worried about being sued, and that's why I put so many disclosures in here. I'm not telling you to do it. I'm telling you the ones that do it make money. And I'm saying that if it's something that you want to consider, that's up to you. I'm not saying to be an evil, mean, horrible person. What I am saying is that you need to be aware of what's going on. And if you perhaps borrow some of this information, it will work. It also gives a whole load of books to read and stuff for you to consider at the end of that. So that said, we're going to, move on here to wants, needs, and what are there signs that a neighborhood's ready for new agents, step in and shake things up. Yes, there are signs that a neighborhood needs a new agent. It's when you move into that neighborhood, they need you. That's the new agent. You know what? It's guys, you will be run over by a locomotive. And so will your competition. This business is changing so fast. You've never had a greater opportunity to make your mark now. Especially when you're speaking to somebody, it's like, oh, I don't need that AI stuff. Oh, I don't need to do all of this. I'll tell you some things my competition doesn't do. They don't make floor plans. They don't make floor plans. I've got competitors who use Apple photos, the iPhone, to photograph a multi-million-dollar listing. I'm not kidding. It's a joke. You shouldn't do that. So find those vulnerabilities and lean in on it and understand that whether you want to put that in someone's face, that this is what you do that the competition doesn't do, or you just want to be able to be better than them. That's the exercise here. Okay, wants, needs, and brags. I want to be able to get to a point here in the meeting where you got to tell us what you want, what you need, and what you'd like to brag about. I really would love to get, hey, Otter, can you participate in this meeting? No. Don't know what's going on with that.
Hey, Edmund,
Yes.
Andy here.
Yes,
Hi,
hi.
everybody. I want a strategy I'm starting with a new brokerage as of yesterday.
What brokerage?
Balstrary.
Okay, congratulations.
And thank you. and I need a strategy to really hit the ground hard. I don't know why I've been very unmotivated. And now that I'm with this new brokerage, I am so motivated and so energized. But there's a million things going around my head and I can't keep them all straight.
So we're very similar that way. I was just talking to Aton when I was walking my dog this morning. I did an exercise. I put down every aspect of what I have to do in my business, and I came up with 24 pages. 24 pages. It's a lot. So now from there, my job is to break that down into what really truly matters from a business standpoint. And we all have responsibilities. I've got to get back to uh, a client of ours. I still have to get proposals out. I mean, there's all sorts of stuff that we've got to get out there. But the number one thing that I think you could think about is getting into the hearts and minds of 100 people. Just 100. If you're brave, 500 or more. But if you could just get to be known, and if you could hammer away at those 100 people, all of them, all people do is talk about real estate, especially down here. Somebody's going to be moving somewhere. You need to be, in their minds, the only broker. So if you could dominate that and start with a little farm or a little area, whether it's an actual physical farm or a vertical farm. What do I mean by that? You're talking to just attorneys, or you're talking to just accountants, or try and get in with 100 people. If you could win that, a lot easier to become famous to 100 people than 100 million people. Don't you agree?
Yes.
So that's something that I think you should consider.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Who else wants, needs, and brags? No? Okay, Kenny, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, with the fires out here, I've been getting contacting people with some burnout properties, and I got one guy with probably a $6 million, $3 to $6 million property, and he's contacting his neighbors trying to put a whole thing together for a bigger estate. I've already contacted one billionaire who wants to buy something for $6 million. So I don't know where that's going to go, but I need to get more. So if people want to get incredible view ocean properties on bluffs in the Palisades where these burnouts are, it's a great opportunity. Lots are going from 800 to 800,000 to 2.5 million for the lots. This piece I'm working on is got killer views. So I don't know what they're going to do with restrictions, but I'm trying to put together a few together so that somebody could put some bigger estates on there. So these are 20, 30, $40 million homes.
Okay, and none of those are your clients at this point.
No,
Perfect.
One happened to go to school. One son happened to go to school with my daughter. So that's how I got in there.
So what Kenny's doing right now is he's not being hand to mouth with this. He's being proactive, and he's actually taking a look at, and again, I will say this to the majority of you are not. The majority of you need to stop and think through, what can you do? What is an opportunistic deal right now? It wasn't Kenny that started the fire. It wasn't Kenny's fault that this actually went on. It wasn't, it's not a symptom of the disease for the guy to want to capitalize on something that's going on right now. Again, somebody will. It might as well be you, Kenny. So there's a lot of guilt people have with making money. I don't know why. It's terrible. You guys have to get, it's not a symptom of the disease. Making money is one of my 3 favorite things in life. Okay. So I think that's important for everyone to know. Okay. Wants, needs, and brags. Who else?
I have one.
Okay, Deneen Kearns, thank God. How are you, Deneen?
Good morning.
Good morning.
I have a new listing in Crystal Cove, which is part of Newport Coast. Beautiful, newer neighborhood. It was built in 2005. 10,900,000, and it's a beautiful 4-bedroom Santa Barbara style home with a casita, ocean views, Catalina views. We're just putting it on the market this week.
Congratulations.
And this was from a past client that I sold them it's the son of this owner, and the owner passed away, and I've been in touch with them since I sold their home 15 years ago. And there is a key to keeping in touch with your past clients. So stay in touch with your people.
Good lesson. And Deneen, you've been great at that. Thank you. And
Thanks.
and again, I'll let you know about I'll let both you and Kenny know about my next trip out west, which hopefully will be soon. Who
Yes.
wants, needs, and brags? Heather, Lavette, Tammy. Tammy's hiding.
I have a need for you to respond to my text, to
Okay,
my
you didn't
chat.
like give me something that's like impossible to read now, and it's going to take up tons of time, Eitan.
No, it's gonna take 2 seconds.
Okay, what do you want? Talk.
Look at the chat.
Can you read? Can you just tell me what you want?
Unknown caller. So what about using the keyword of your competitor to do AdWord and market your own yourself?
Perfect. Absolutely. To be able to do or hashtags in
Is
your.
that ethical? I mean, is this crossing the line?
I'm not here. I'm not an ethics. I'm not an ethics specialist here. I'm just telling you what people do. I leave this to we're all grown-ups
So
here.
as far as I'm concerned, you take your top producer in your area, you
Mhm.
use his name as your keyword, and you market yourself under his keyword. And when they do a search result searching for him, you come up front, they think you are him, and you grab his business.
You know, just for giggles to share that with everyone, if we go to Google here
Yeah.
and if we type in let me just see what a follow-up boss. And we know that that's a CRM. So we got follow-up boss, but also sponsored. We got a HubSpot. We got inside real estate. Okay. So considering follow-up boss, well, screw them, we're better. And that's what they're doing on a paid basis. What Aton is
I,
saying is
I know the average user does not like see the sponsored tagline and will click on the link that comes up first and believe
oftentimes they
that
do.
he's actually dealing with the person he searched for.
Or you could say trip to Bahamas. Great. So let's see what actually comes up. And various things.
Barbados.
Yeah, so Barbados. So you get different, but that's the point that if you're willing to consider one, you'll be willing to consider another. And you're absolutely right. If you could optimize the back end of your website with what we call backlinks, meaning links to and from, if we get other links going to your site that are logical and that will be more reflective of your competition, you're going to be able to get some of that foot traffic. That's pretty cool. Eitan, thank you for bringing that up.
I would highly suggest doing that as
Yeah.
the main strategy in this arena of topic.
And all we will say is check your local laws. Always check with an attorney if you're worried about that type of thing. That's really important. Who else wants to need some
Google
brags?
allows it, it's legally good.
What?
If Google allows it, it's fine.
Again, that's not us saying that. You check with a lawyer. Don't listen to Aton.
Eitan says that.
Check with a lawyer. So I'm trying to keep us out of jail, Aton. We got to be careful here. What else? Wants to need some brags? Who else?
Edmund, what about our brag for the team having 3 closings this past week?
Thank you, Nicole. Nicole's on our team. We had 3 closings this week, which is great. You're only as good as the last closing, but everyone's worked very, very hard, and it is great. My hope is that we're able to say that again. By the way, those are the 3 only closings I've had so far this year. So while we are bragging, I also think there's a certain amount of humility you need to bring to the table that we absolutely need to keep an eye. But yes, Nicole, you were right in bringing that up. Thank you.
What's the average price of each closing?
Was well, the highest was 2 million and the lowest was 350,000, and the other one was 700,000. So
Tough.
it worked. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so anybody, this is kind of, we're gonna have Terry sing us out in a minute, but does anybody have any AI questions that they want to talk about? Any new tools that they want to see? Any fun stuff that might be out there?
I want to mention the ChatGPT Deep Search, which is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, they give you, for the paid version, Aton, they give you 12 searches a month. You know that, right?
I did know that it was only 12. I thought it was more, but
So how many have you used up?
I've used one so far.
Okay, good. So
And
just
I know we've been blocked out for 2 weeks because you used them all.
oh, so I used it up. So then it's for the whole team then. So it was just 12 for the whole team.
Yeah,
I
I
didn't
believe
realize
we
that.
are on a team plan and
So guys, while Eitan's bringing that up, I might as well share because I like sharing.
What does that cost for the paid membership?
only $20 a month. It's so worth it. I mean, you
Yeah.
should definitely subscribe. For $20 a month, it's a gift.
So here it says 9 available until April 27th. Now, the deep research, if you really want to dig into a particular neighborhood or a particular uh, set of data,
Topic.
this is a great way. Like, for example, if you wanted to find out, I don't know, Deneen, everything about your area in California or the history of the competition of real estate agents in your area, you could really drill down with that. But there's more because all these AIs are offering deep search. Here we have Grok, which is doing deep search. It's not nearly as robust as ChatGPT. But it's still very, very good, and I think it's important that you know that. There's also, if we go into my AI related stuff,
I also want to point out that the deep search takes like 20 minutes to 30 minutes to actually compile the information, and you actually have to wait for it. So it's a lot more, it's a lot different than the regular AI process.
sure. Um, and Deneen, something that's free right now, right out of your neighborhood from Stanford University, is Storm. Everyone should write this down. I can't enlarge it. Storm.genie.stanford.edu. Actually, Daniel, if you could make note of that and then put it into the chat, storm.genie.stanford.edu. You could actually do a few things with this, which I think is a really cool tool. One, you could write an article um, based on just about anything. Two, you could actually start a roundtable conversation with this, which I think is kind of neat. So if you did a roundtable conversation, we could talk about, um, I don't know, somebody give me a topic starter. Please, somebody give me something that's interesting. Nobody.
Status of the market.
Okay, let's see. What is the status of the real estate market in the fire-torn area of California? I just made it a little bit more oomphy. And you're supposed to be able to get this in. What's the purpose? I am a realtor and I am trying to gain a competitive edge. Okay, so we'll submit that. Now, because it's a university, writing purpose submitted. System is getting familiar with the topic. It will take about 3 minutes. So this thing is really not your typical AI. We're going to go back to that in a few minutes, but it's starting a roundtable conversation where you participate with the AI as if you're having a conversation here with us. You could also have it write out long form articles. Look at all the research it's doing right now. Do you see this? So it's really coming up with all these tools and all the stuff that's out there. Also, I think I want to mention to everyone, we'll go back to that in a minute. Claude or Anthropic, the company that makes Claude, did a study because I don't know if all of you knew this. This data scientists don't really know really why AI works, why the large language model completely exactly like they know how it works, but they don't know the thought process, much the same as a neurologist doesn't know the entire thought process of your brain. And Anthropic just did a study to find out just what is really the process. Why does the AI hallucinate? This is the part that should kind of scare you because we're releasing this beast into the world and we don't really fully understand it. What is the steps that it's actually taking to make some of these choices? And one of the things that they said was they initially thought that if I say peanut butter and you'll say jelly, they were thinking that it's going to go one for one. What they discovered was that at least Claude looks many sentences in advance of the information that it's actually delivering to you. Why is that important? It's important because you're really getting into the guts of why you're going to get an answer and how you tone it. Deneen asked me, tell us about real estate in California, or whatever her question was. I took it a step further and added the fire because you're able to direct the AI into a particular area. The more specific you are, the better the answer tends to be. Let's see if this guy's come up with anything as of yet. Okay, so the system is still onto the fourth. It's still going through its thing. Again, we're used to very, very quick answers. By the way, this is free. I hope I mentioned that before. And it's something that, again, at least for now, it's free. So I highly suggest that you tool around with it and see what you're able to do. In the very least, you're going to be able to take topics and ideas and put it into blogs and content and be able to get it out to you. So that's one thing. I wish it would go just a little bit faster, but that's what we're dealing with right now. Grok, again, has a deep research, which is great, as does DeepSeek. DeepSeek is the Chinese AI that also has a deep think component. None of them are as detailed as ChatGPT. None of them go to the extent that they do with ChatGPT. By the way, ChatGPT now has a super pro. Eitan, what do they call it? The $200 a month ChatGPT.
It's like an assistant, I believe.
It's something
So
that
basically, it takes actions and it can send emails and actually beyond just giving you text, it can do things. Can do things.
beginning to be, they call it agentic agents, AI agents, that's beginning to put that out there. OpenAI is also releasing some news that by the end of this year, they're going to have an AI assistant that costs $20,000 a month. This is going to be replacing whole departments of companies. Not saying that it's fair, guys. I'm just saying what the news is. Please don't shoot me. I get a lot of people freaking out about that. But agentic AI is here, and the sooner that you learn it and the more you get good at it, the better off you are. Let's just see if this guy's come up
What
with.
about the Tesla robot that is going to come up soon and will be able to
Do all sorts of
ask
work for
also
you.
$20,000 cost?
So let's show Deneen. Deneen, you still with me? Deneen? She's hopefully here. So the
Yes, I'm
moderator,
here. I'm here.
okay, so the moderator is saying, we asked, what's the status of the real estate market on fire-torn area, California? That's a great point about the multifaceted nature of rebuilding. I'm curious though, how can we make sure that our rebuilding strategies, and this actually goes into its own conversation, that you could now participate in it. Like give me an answer to that. That's a great point about the multifaceted nature of rebuilding. I'm curious though, how can we make sure that our rebuilding strategies go beyond just physical infrastructure? I might say something like, I think we need to be concerned with safety and not so much about the environment. What happened with this? To protect plants, California was not allowed to dig up shrubs in fire zones. And again, I'm just throwing something out there. And now it's going to actually get into a conversation based upon what it was learning. It's an interesting thing. It's taking longer than I wanted to take. I would encourage you, Deneen, to go and try it yourself because you could kind of, from that, dig some greater information. It's not as fast as what everyone is used to in all these tools, but it is still pretty cool. So I
Great.
always try
I
and
will.
bring
Thanks.
new stuff to you. Um, Also, what do we have here? If we haven't gotten together, please do. We really should get together. For those of you who are guests, we do have a 30-day trial before you actually sign up. So you've got the link here. You're able to do that. And what else? Any other questions, points, thoughts? Okay, our next meeting is going to be next Wednesday. If we haven't gotten together again, I really do want to get together. Tara, you ready?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I love it when he says that. It makes me look at you and say, it really was great having you here today. It sure was fun talking to all of you about all this. And I look forward to seeing everyone next Wednesday morning for another exciting episode of
REIGNation.
Loving that. Okay, guys. Good to see everybody.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ed.
You're welcome. Still trying to get. Hey, Otter, what do you think about what was discussed? It's not working. Okay.
They're sleeping.
Now, well, this.
I don't have opinions, but I.
Oh, we did it!
Oh, sorry. Hey, Otter. Can you tell me what Eitan was talking about? I don't like it.
I couldn't
Thank
find
you,
specific
Ed.
details about what Eitan.
You're welcome. Hey, Otter, go ahead.
Could you clarify your request? Please say "Hey Otter" before answering.
Hey, Otter, what was it that Eitan said during the meeting that you thought was interesting?
Eitan mentioned using competitors' keywords for AdWords to market yourself, which sparked a discussion on ethical boundaries and strategies. Let me know if you'd like more details.
Okay. Not ready for prime time yet if you want to know my opinion here. But this is, by the way, this is going to be, they're letting everyone test it now. So I would encourage you to go play yourself. But I think for large meetings, it's a tough one because even when Sandy was saying goodbye, it interrupted this. I don't know. The jury's out on this. I always like to try new things, but what do you think, Eitan?
You know, it's promising, and yes, definitely a good progression to the technology, but not ready.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, good to see everybody. I hope to catch everyone next week. Eitan, I'll give you a buzz in a little bit.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Take care.